Hello everyone, Helen here, and today I'm going to show you how I made this card, so let's get started. So for the stamp set, I am using the Snow Monsters stamp set, which comes with two super cute monster images and lots of sentiments. I also brought in the Mix and Match 2 6x6 paper pad, and it comes with stripes, dots, and I'll be using one of the blue dots for my background. And then I brought in my Slimline Marquee dies, which is what I'm pointing to right there. And last but not least, I'll be using the Slimline Scenic Countryside dies, and I'll be using that hill border that you see there. And then I'll be die cutting those trees on white cardstock. So now let's get started with the coloring. I've gone ahead and stamped my image on alcohol-friendly cardstock. And I'm only going to be coloring one image because I'll only be using one image for this card. So I wanted my monster to be green. I thought about making him purple because of that song One-Eyed, One-Horn, Flying Purple People Eater. I love that song when I was a child. But I thought, you know what? I think he needs to be green. So my darkest color is YG09, and I'm just outlining the monster with it. And then for my midtone, I used YG06, and I'm just pulling out the dark edge and smoothing that out. And then for my lightest color, I picked YG01. Now this is a significantly lighter color than my first two colors, but I think that it gives the monster a nice glow. And then for the tongue, I used RV25, and then I used RV23 to ink blend that. And for his shirt, I used YR18 for my darkest. I felt like the orange really gives the green a nice contrast. And I'm just, again, going on the outlines, and then YR15 dragging out the dark lines and smoothing that out. And then for my lightest color, I chose a YR12. And now for the jeans, blue matches with everything. Orange and blue go well together. And my darkest is B24, B23 for my mid-tone, and then B21 for my lightest. And then for his horns, for his head and his tail, I used E25 for my darkest, E23 as my mid-tone, and then E21 for my lightest. And I think this blend is really nice, those three color combos. And then for the snowboard, I wanted it to be red, so R46 for my darkest, R29 for my lightest, and R24 for my lightest tone. I think that the pop of red will give this card some life. And then for his shoes, C7 for my darkest, C5 for my mid-tone, and then C4 for my lightest. And now for the snow, right behind his snowboard, I chose BG0000. And then now I just took my Uniball white pen and I'm going to add some highlights on him. And there's no rhyme or reason where I add the highlights. I just put it where it's pleasing to my eye. And I think adding highlights to an image makes the image pop out more. And so here are all the elements that I've already gone ahead and die cut. I've also gone ahead and heat embossed white embossing powder on black cardstock for the sentiments I'll be using. I decided to die cut the Marquee die on blue cardstock, and I really love the stitching whimsical details on the edge. And then I'm taking my pattern paper and I'm insetting that in those squares in the middle. There's really something oddly satisfying about insetting paper in a die cut. I think it's because it fits so perfectly like a puzzle that it's just so satisfying to me, and I really enjoyed putting these pattern papers inside that Marquee die cut. Next, I'm just going to take my Snow Hills border, and what I did is I just took a long piece of white cardstock, die cut the Snow Hill from the Slimline Countryside dies from Whimsy, and then I took the Marquee die cut and then I die cut it again. I hope that made sense. Now I'm going to Inkblot the Trees with Rustic Wilderness Distress Oxide ink, and I'm going very lightly here because I did want it to look like there's some elements of snow on these trees. So I'm trying not to go very heavy-handed here, although the first tree was kind of dark, but you know what, we're just going to keep going. And then now I'm going to adhere those snow hills inside my Marquee die cut there. And again, I love how perfectly they fit inside that die cut. Now I'm just going to take off my blue cardstock, and I will be popping up that blue cardstock with foam tape because I wanted to give this card dimension. And I'm just going to add my ink blended trees in each of those panels. And I am going to be putting 3 trees on each. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the last tree. And then next, we're going to add foam tape behind our blue card front there. And I'm using 1/8 inch foam tape. And I'm just going to add that on the thinnest side of my front panel there. And then I took my 1/4 inch foam tape, and I'll be adding that in the middle of my card panel. And so now we're going to go ahead and peel the backing off of these tapes. Trying to be careful not to rip it because sometimes it does stick to the foam tape. And then I'm going to carefully center that around my pattern papers, and voila! So our card is coming so nicely together. I'm very pleased with how it's looking so far. And now it's time to place our one-eyed monster. Now I am going to be popping him up on the sides, but not in the center because, you know, we've already gone ahead and popped up our Marquee die cut there. And so now I'm just going to put some adhesive where I didn't put any foam tape on him. And then now I'm going to take the backing off of there, and I'm going to place him carefully on our card front. I love the angle he's in. It's so cute. And now here are the sentiments that I've gone ahead and heat embossed with white embossing powder on black cardstock. I did put some dimensionals on them, and then I'm going to go ahead and put some tape where I did not put any dimensionals. And I think the black really gives this card a nice pop of color because all of the colors are very subtle, and I think it also makes the red not so overpowering. So I really like the pop of black on this as well. And then for the last finishing touch, I will be adding some of these snowflakes. I've been into snowflakes lately, and I think these snowflakes give a nice look to this card. And then I'm going to add some iridescent white jewels in the center of them. So thank you so much for watching. I really truly appreciate you. Leave me a comment below what you think of this card. And also please visit us on the Whimsy Stamps pages that will be linked down below. We would love for you to join us. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.